Billy, we were told DeBrincat would never be the same again without Patrick Kane. But have you seen him with Dylan Larkin?
That
They
was a
have
great
come.
tweet by you.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. They have combined for 14 points in the first 4 games. As of this recording, Alex DeBrincat is the only player in the National Hockey League with 8 points, right behind Austin Matthews in most goals, and Larkin tied at the top of the league in assists. I tried to tell you guys.
You did.
I tried to tell you guys. I tried to tell you in the offseason that I thought the combination of Dylan Larkin not having to be the goal scorer, being able to flex his elite playmaking abilities and focus on that while still scoring a bit, was going to work with DeBrincat. And I may have even been wrong on my conservative view of saying that it might take a full season to see DeBrincat and Larkin reach an elite pairing level. We've gone through 4 games, which is not a lot, but it's not nothing.
Good job recognizing that. That was going to be the thing I was going to come back with a little bit.
No, there's no coming back here, because guess who's also played 4 games?
Everyone else.
Or more. A lot of teams. And in these first 4 games, we're not seeing promise. We're not seeing a glimmer of something. We are seeing, in these first 4 games, an elite pairing of Dylan Larkin and Alex DeBrincat. You can't say they're not. You can say it won't last. You can say it'll settle down. But what you have to admit, and what anybody watching has to admit, is that right now, Larkin and DeBrincat are showing to be something the league might need to be scared of.
Yes.
We'll see how far it goes. But right now, it just looks good. I know you've got some stats. Let me hear them.
All right. I mean, we can just kind of start off with he's the 4th player in Red Wing history to get 5 goals in his first 4 games. That's impressive. This team's been around for almost an entire century. Isn't that crazy? In just a few years, we'll be celebrating the 100th year of the Detroit Red Wings. That's a cool little thing to like pop in your head for a second. But, 8 points in 4 games, 2 points per game player right now. I mean, he could go the next 4 games not doing anything and still be a point per game player. And being a point per game player in the NHL is a good feat. It is a good accomplishment.
Well, you know what's crazy though? I thought his plus minus was bad on Ottawa. I thought that meant, well, newsflash, he's a +3 as a Red Wing. How about that?
And that's with, you're going to make me skip down a little bit in my list here. 4 of his points are on the power play. That doesn't give you a plus. So he's still finding his way to be on the ice for good moments. And like his points are still happening on the power play. We already know what you and I think about plus minus, a pretty throwaway stat.
So you mentioned he's got some power play effect. He's got 2 goals in the power play. How many points in the power play?
4.
Okay, so 2 goals, 2 assists on the power play. That's 4 power plays that DeBrincat has been directly associated with putting the puck in the net.
Yep. And our power play is kind of really important right now. It's we already know that through the playoffs or other teams, it makes and breaks games. So if you can get your power play to start going, it's wonderful. And what's impressing me the most is that we're not setting him up to be the shooter. If you watch even like our recent short video of the Perron goal, he's not setting himself up to be the shooter at all. Like the way that I predicted this thing would go is you kind of give him like a Stamkos or Ovi responsibility. He has heard Steve Yzerman say he is more than just a goal scorer. And that's translating into the loan in this coaching staff into putting him into positions to be more than just the shooter. And he's passing to Larkin in the bumper spot super well, like on that play. It's picture perfect on that he is more than just this goal scorer that we, kind of like created in our own minds and then had to get our, eyes shift a little bit from Steve Yzerman and be like, no, does much more. That's why we want him. That's why we have him. And it's great because it's just not necessary now, but we know it's something he can do, is still be the shooter. So if this power play starts to get figured out a little bit, which through a season, just about all of them do, you start seeing a lot of strategies change throughout it. He can change it and he can go be the shooter. He can, take the Daniel Sprong opportunities that we have on that second power play, but he's versatile. That's one of the things that make him special. Other thing that makes DeBrincat special, that release. It's fast.
Yep.
That release is fast. That puck is on his stick and it's to the net.
He's a good shooter. The offense overall has looked pretty great. That's going to be kind of what we're going to get into next, is just the overall offense. But if you want to jump down into the comments or anything, down to the YouTube comments and talk about DeBrincat, let us know, has he met your expectation? Has he soared past them? Or were you one of the ones who called it? Were you one of the ones who were like, no, this dude's going to click immediately and he's right where you expected him to be?
Don't you lie. We'll look at our comment history. You were probably here.
And those of you who are listening via podcast, because by the way, we've seen some of the comments, you guys asking if this was going to be in podcast form. This is the first episode that we are recording, knowing that it was going to be up as a podcast. So it is on Spotify, Apple, and a bunch of other sites. We'll have it linked in the description. So anybody listening for the first time via Spotify, hello, we're waving at you. You just can't see it. Jumping into the offense, if you had to guess, where would you guess the Red Wings rank right now in power play percentage?
I would guess top 5.
Top 5. Cool. What if I told you they were top 2 and they weren't number 2?
I'd believe you. I'd absolutely believe you.
Number 1 in the league with an totally sustainable 46.2% on the power play, just ahead of the Maple Leafs. So now, obviously, it's not going to stay like that. Obviously, it's not going to happen. But it's a great start. And there's a stat that I want to connect to. I know you don't have this on your list, but I kind of found it kind of as we were going here. Talking about the team's offense. The power play being 46%, I don't think is any coincidence that we have a tied for top 5 face-off win percentage. I think that opens up a lot of opportunities when your power play is clicking, not losing a face-off, and it immediately being dumped down. We are seeing a power play with purpose. We are seeing there's a plan.
Yeah.
You can clearly see, you can watch and you can see what they're looking for, and they keep finding it. It almost, I shouldn't say almost all of these goals that they're scoring on the power play, but the ones that we are seeing, you can pinpoint which ones are going by the book. Like That's how they drew it up. They planned for that exact scenario. What have been your general impression of the power play specifically?
It's like the strengths of our power play are literally the strengths of our team right now, and just generally in this offense of how everyone feels like they're contributing. If I would have told you just like 4 or 5 games into the season, I would understand that it's a small sample size. But if I had to guess the second leading scorer on this team, it would not be Kopp. After last year and after what I expect Kopp to be in the league and for this team, I would not anticipate him being number 2. You would have had me put Raymond up there, Perron up there, possibly a Rasmussen up there, a Larkin up there to be the ones beating this guy. Even maybe a Comfer, I could have said. All I'm trying to say is, like, Kopp, when you only have 12 forwards every night, he's probably right in the middle of the pack for me, and he's performing well right now. I know the penalty shots.
It's got 2 penalty shots.
Come on, Copper. Come on, Copper. Hit one for 2.
That's a start, though. Drawing 2 penalty shots. Actually, think of it more like this. Dude's putting himself somehow in a position to draw 2 penalty shots. That's 2 breakaways, essentially. So Kopp's doing something right.
Yep.
I think what you're seeing is Steve Yzerman has, through signings, trades, the way this team is being built, he's enabled a coach like Lalone to construct lines that complement each other, and that everybody is better on that line because of the line they're on and who they're on the line with. It almost reminds me, in this specific aspect, it almost reminds me of back like 2008 lines where you understood all 4 lines. When they were out there, you could immediately pinpoint in your head, here's their strength, here's their weakness. So here's why they're out there. Here's what they're going to do and what I can expect from them. I like that Lalone seems to have put 4 lines together with minimal movement, but 4 lines together that feel like they have a purpose.
Yep.
Feels good.
Yep. Even on the special teams, it feels like every person in their spot, their strength is that responsibility.
Unless someone has scored that has been sent down that is not on this list, I count 12 different Red Wings who have scored a goal in the first 4 games.
That's awesome.
12 different Red Wings. 12 different players have scored at least 1 goal. That's huge. That's what happens when you're not relying on one line and you're putting together a squad. And right now, this team is a team. And it's exciting to see. So our last video was posted right before the Columbus Blue Jacket game. Literally, we recorded it 15 minutes before, and then we uploaded the next morning. So we could finally talk about the Columbus game. They look phenomenal in that one. And Reimer had the chance to show that he is probably going to be a solid backup. It's one game, but putting up a shutout in this league, period, it's at least showing that at least one of the backup signings that we made is hopefully going to be reliable.
Yeah, any shutout is impressive in the NHL. Like, I'll find myself like discrediting or being like, okay, so that is a game you should win in situations like this. But to get a shutout, yeah, I'm going to give Reimer his flowers. Like, absolutely deserved. Look, just so solid foundationally. And we already know that this team, they're gonna put some stress on the goalies. We've already talked about how the defense can be a little shaky and give up some prime opportunities, and you're gonna need your goalie to show up big in those moments. I don't know how long you can keep relying on that, but as long as they keep doing it, you got to keep giving them the stick taps. You got to give them the rounds of applause on showing up for those moments. Shout out to Reimer, playing super well, and just in general about playing the Jackets. I'm with you. We were just the better team. And with that, it feels very good to distance yourself from the bottom end teams. It really wasn't that long ago that we were them. We would play kind of a mid-end team and we would get smoked. And you would think to yourself, wow, so that's how far away we are from truly trying to, step up the ladder in this league. It's the NHL. Anyone can beat anyone any night. But if you can consistently beat the teams in their status, you're going to love those points when you're counting at the end.
Talked about the defense, and the defense is what got exposed going into the Pittsburgh game. He looked pretty great, came out hot. Started out not so hot first minute.
Yeah, first minute.
Throughout, offense came out pretty hot, stormed right back, got a 4-1 lead going into the third period, up 4-1, and that's when we saw you saw what you really don't want to see, and it's that first glimpse of not being able to put it away. Obviously, they ended up putting it away. Letting a team like the Penguins come within 1 goal when you go into the third up 4-1, it's not what you hope for. And we were doing it during the watch along. A lot of you watching this right now were probably watching with us. We were pointing out that it was looking more they were playing not to lose instead of playing to win. They were no longer pushing forward. They were no longer holding the puck in the offensive zone. It felt like we were constantly on the penalty kill for a good portion of the third period, and did get to a point where thankfully it got late enough in the game that they were up by 1, pulled the goalie. We were able to score on it, even though that ended up being dramatic with the potential offside. And then we get a nice stat patter with another empty net goal. But overall, the team, other than it's kind of like the same thing with New Jersey, a game that they also could have won. But in this one, it's like they had that 1 period slump, but didn't manage to let it completely slip away.
Yeah. So, I mean, you could really think to 2 moments they faced adversity in that game. And one's in the first minute. You're coming out against a team that you're competing with. Everyone has the Penguins making the playoffs, like across the TNT board before the game. I know it's a pretty popularly held belief with many fans around the NHL that, getting Erik Karlsson is going to put them over the hump. They missed it by 1 point last year. I know that I'm not feeling the same way about it, but I recognize that there are like 4 or 5 teams that absolutely could bounce with one another into that spot, and this is one of them. And we're going to talk about it again in not too long, but you got to beat these teams because it's silly to only think that it like the last month matters when you're like, oh, we play Pittsburgh, we play Buffalo, we play Ottawa 3 games in a row. We got to win 2 out of those 3. Win this one now, you got to win 1 out of 3. Like, it starts to relieve the back end pressure of games a lot. And these are the ones that kind of get lost as like it was early, they've completely changed. Win early then. Facing the 2 moments of adversity in that first minute, Malkin scoring on you on a pretty play. That passing was pretty great. I believe it was Raymond that probably fell asleep a little bit on the defensive responsibility of picking up Malkin as he goes around, recognizing there are 2 Penguins and 1 Red Wing. Help the guy out. Yeah, I know you're a winger, but sometimes you're going to have to drop down. Facing that adversity, coming back 4 unanswered goals, giving up 2 goals in the third to make it, I believe, 4-3 at some point when Erik Karlsson. He was
played well.
He was commanding plays up at the blue line. We weren't pressuring too much because honestly, it's scary too. He's so shifty. They were doing a lot of things right. We were not. So to get that within 1 goal against a seasoned veteran team that has many Stanley Cups on that roster, to bounce back, that deserves credit to not collapse in those moments. It feels like one of those moments that they probably would only be ridiculed if it failed, but they're not going to get praised if they fought it off. So that's why I really want to stress this is props to them for fighting through that.
So Saturday's a big test. They're going to Ottawa, 3rd time in a row playing in Ottawa, and you can watch it with us. We'll be doing another watch along for that game in particular. So make sure you sub right now so that way you get the alert when that happens. And if you want someone to watch the game with and you want that to be us, feel free to pop in. I know a good chunk of you came to the last watch along and said that you've been watching the videos and you enjoyed yourself there. So hope to see you there. Very difficult test. Ottawa is also looking good.
They are very, very good.
They're having a start very comparable to the Red Wings right now. It's Detroit and Ottawa. Is it top of the conference or the division? I can't remember, but both starting almost the exact same stats through 4 games, team stats wise, except I believe we've given up 1 more goal. That's going to be a scary one because that's one you just hope. You hope that everything you've seen leading up to this is proven correct. You're hoping that not only are you hoping that you win, but at minimum, if you do lose, you're hoping you don't look bad. You hope that it's a close game, and you hope that it's a sign that 2 teams are growing and excelling together. 2 teams are on the rise, and the teams we're beating, and when I say we, I mean Ottawa, who also took down the Lightning, and they destroyed the Capitals.
Yeah, Capitals look bad. They look like a bad team.
You hope that it's 2 teams both on the rise because you don't want both to be frauds.
Oh my gosh.
That's for sure. So you don't want it to be that. You don't want both to just be getting really lucky starts. You're hoping that Ottawa and Detroit are both on that rise. And I think that's the case. I haven't seen anything on the Red Wings side to suggest that it wouldn't be a close game or that it wouldn't be a good game. I'm seeing some puck luck, here and there, but I'm seeing puck luck going against us too.
The reason it's called puck luck.
Yeah, but it's not. But that's the thing is it's not. I don't see us going out there and getting absolutely destroyed. Other than the 2 periods you mentioned, one against the Devils, second period against the Devils, and the third period against Pittsburgh. It's been consistent. Yep. What are you thinking going into the Ottawa game?
Oh man, this is going to be. You could say that other than the Columbus game, each game has been like our next biggest test. You start with the Devils, likely going to win the East. You lose to them, but that's one hell of a way to start a season. Then you play Tampa. You're like, that's a big one. These are teams that you got to start stealing some games away from to find your way up the list. Columbus, okay, you don't say it there. But then you got Pittsburgh, someone that you're in direct competition for in wild card predictions. And now here you are again facing a team that is also in a rebuild. I'm going to give them credit. It's more of a true rebuild. They are actually building more from developing their own talent than we are. We poured gas on ours this year. Mm-hmm. When you have 7 new forwards in your lineup, you poured gas, okay? And that's not a bad thing by any means. Like, this can absolutely become sustainable. But yeah, they are young. They're fast. That top line is nothing to mess with. Brady Tkachuk is such an animal, really. Finding he's kind of like his brother, obviously, but finding that physical force that can put the puck in the net, inspire his team, play tough, something that we can't match with our top line. We got to just be honest. Dylan Larkin isn't matching up with Brady Tkachuk in toughness. He has the heart. They both have all the heart in the world, and you'll see Larkin go at it with him. He's not going to drop the gloves, though. right? Showing the respect to like how physical they can be. Are we going to keep up with that? Is this when you got like a Costin? I don't know how to say it. I'll be honest. You keep hearing like different people say it different ways.
Just keep flipping back and forth, and you're right half the time.
Yep, exactly. So is this why we got him? Is this an opportunity for him to shine? Is this going to be another game where we dress 11 forwards and 7 defensemen to get Hall in there to again play another bigger body in there? We looked fine with 11 forwards. We're already talking about how much we're mixing and matching. We already have 4 centers in our lineup with Veleno, Comfer, Larkin. So I'm thinking that that's definitely a possibility. If you want to shore up defense and you want to make sure that you're ready for the attack that's going to be coming your way, sure, take the 7 defensemen. Let's try that out. Let's figure out again, continue to test all these pairings that we're putting together. Gonna give Ottawa all the respect in the world. They look good. They got young talent that's absolutely flying.
Who do you think's gonna look better in that game? DeBrincat or Kubalik? That's the big matchup, right?
I mean, I heard from a lot of really smart people across Twitter that it was essentially an even trade between Kubalik and DeBrincat, and that anything that was added from our side was just extra for the Senators. If you said that is wild. That's wild.
I'm sure
like, I like Kubalik. Right, it's now. Wild. My key for this game is going to be that you need an even or a hot start. You can't go down in the first minute again. You can't go down 2 goals in the first period, because it's going to be a really, really tough hole to dig yourself back out of with this team. I think they're going to keep attacking. I don't think that they're going to try to sit back and just try to hold a lead. I think they're going to be coming at you hard.
I think you score the first goal in Ottawa, you put yourself in a great position. Not just in the obvious sense of, well, you obviously want to be up 1-0. I believe in like momentum. I think hockey is one of the few sports that I actually believe in some like home ice advantage, not partially because it actually has a rule attached to it with the line changes.
Yes.
But when a team's hot, it's the weekend. This place is going to be bumping. And I think if you let Ottawa get ahead of you early, you could be in some trouble.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I'm picking the Wings to win 5-3, including an empty net goal. It'll be 4-3. I'll pull the goalie. We'll seal the deal. Costin's going to hit the empty netter.
Okay. I'm putting in 1 more goal total than you in the game. And I think it's going to be such a good matchup that they're going to go 4-4 through 3. I think it's going to go to overtime. I don't think either team is going to score in overtime. I think Hoos is going to show up big in those moments. I think, I'm guessing they're going to start Forsberg. No, they're going to start Korpisalo. That's so silly of me. Korpisalo is going to have a good, first showing against someone that they have to beat in an intense moment. And I think it's going to go to a shootout. I think we're going to come up short. I think I'm going to go 4-5 Ottawa in a shootout.
So Billy's wrong, obviously. Put your prediction down below. Give us your specific prediction. Don't just say Wings are going to win, Ottawa's going to win. Be stupidly specific with us. Pick who's going to score the final goal. Is there going to be an empty netter? Is it going to be all power play goals, shorthanded goal, something? Put a name with it. Throw it down below. And don't forget, Saturday for this Ottawa game, we are doing another live watch along. So hit the subscribe button. Let us know in the comments that you're going to be there. Like the video, and we'll see you on Saturday live for the Ottawa game. Goodbye.